Well, it never fails. It really doesn't. Truly. I forget if it was Lana or if it was Gypsy who said that I am cursed with the Limbaugh syndrome. I go away for a short break and then all heck breaks loose in the world. And again, it has happened. And with that little commentary, hi, hello, and how are you doing out there in internet land? My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative, and welcome to Front Porch Brunch. This thing we do on the weekends where we get together, we talk about the news, we give our views, and we try to make it through this crazy thing that we call life. My name is Brian Trippett. I am the Front Porch Conservative. I am sometimes known as the wise guy in the wide brim. Sometimes I'm known as the kid in the lid. On occasion, I'm called the common man with common sense. But in this moment, above all else, I am your host. We are on Rumble, we are on X, and we are on that quaint little alternative social media platform known as YouTube. So if you wouldn't mind, if you don't care, and it would really be appreciated if you do, go ahead and subscribe to my channel, whether you're on Rumble or whether you're on YouTube. Doesn't matter to me. I'd love to have your subscription either way, preferably in both places. And while you're at it, for this morning's live stream, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button and leave a comment in chat. Believe it or not, those two things really do a lot to push this little live stream and this channel out there in the algorithm to make us a little more well-known. Share the link around with your friends, hit the bell for notifications, and all right, let's just get down to business. I am back from vacation, and I want to say a good morning to everybody. Let us see who all is here. Hang on. Well, we know the wing nuts are fully assembled over there on Rumble. Let's see who all is here. Lana, good morning, my dear. Mwah, good to see you. Be listening in. Got to work some overtime today. I hope you're all having a great weekend. Well, doesn't matter if you're listening in or with us sitting down in front of the computer or whatever. We're glad you're here. And oh, it's so good to have you here, darling. Let's see who else is here. Shalom, my dear. Shalom. Glad to have you with us. Good morning, Z Highness. Mwah. Let's see who else be here this fine morning. Let's see. TBA is here. Well, yeah, he's here in the house, for that's for sure. Let's see. Good morning, Miss Gypsy. Mwah. Glad to see you. Glad to see you. Let's see who else is here hanging out with us. Mr. Scott Awesome is here, always hanging out there with the wing nuts. Look out indeed. Now wait a minute. You said it. I didn't. I'm just reading what you said. Just saying. Let's see. He looks a little more orange today. Well, okay. I've got to wait for the sun to pass over a certain part of the house before I open up the curtains back there. I did get a tan. I got a little bit of a tan in my time away. And before we really dive into everything, I'll give you guys a vacation update about how it went for me and the lady. And there's some humorous stories from the vacation, which I'll be happy to share with some of you guys. But vacation was good. Went to Florida, to the Gulf side of Florida. I hadn't been there in, close to 10 years, I guess. Stayed in a place called Bel Air Beach, Florida, which is just down the road from Clearwater. And it worked out really well. If you've never been to Bel Air Beach, Florida, let me recommend it to you. It's more of a residential area, but it's got motels, it's got condominiums, that sort of thing, but it's not nearly as crowded or party atmosphere as Clearwater. It's still within 5 or 10 minutes, you could be anywhere. You could be north toward Clearwater, you could be south toward Indian Rocks, and other places. But yeah, I really recommend it to you. The motel where we stayed, literally, you could walk out of your room, and within 100 feet, your toes are in the sand. That's how close we were to the beach. Not kidding. The place where we stayed, it's an older motel resort. It doesn't have all the fancy amenities, but it was clean. It was well taken care of, very well maintained, very clean. had everything you could want, and we enjoyed ourselves immensely. People said, "Well, what all did you do? What activities did you engage in?" I said, "Well, primarily three. We ate, we slept, we went to the beach. That's it." And some people will say to me, "Well, that doesn't sound like much of a vacation." I said, "Listen, when you have two individuals like myself and the lady who are governed by schedules, like everybody to one degree or another, but especially for the two of us, work schedules, family schedules, taking care of some family members in some cases, etc. When you are governed by the schedule and the clock, and you can get away and not be governed by any of that, it is great. It is absolutely great. And now here's a funny for you. So the lady flew out of one airport. I flew out of another. Her flight got there ahead of mine. So the plan was that she, gets the rental car, and from there we do whatever. Okay. So I land and I call her up and say, "Hey, I'm getting ready to get on the shuttle, take me to the other side of the airport. I'll meet you at the car rental." She's like, "Shuttle? What shuttle?" I said, she's like, "Are you messing with me right now?" I was like, "No, I'm not messing with you. I'm getting ready to get on the shuttle." So she calls me back 2 minutes later and says, um, "What does your ticket say about where you are?" It says, "I'm at the Tampa International Airport." "Why?" She said, "I'm at Clearwater, St. Pete." We both assumed we were landing at the same place. She's at the St. Petersburg Clearwater International Airport. I landed at Tampa. She's like, "Don't worry, give me 15 minutes and I'll be over there." And it was the most hysterical thing. And we laughed about it, but it was on a great vacation. We had a load of fun. It really was. It was nice, Z Highness. It truly was resting and resetting as much as possible. Um, Salty says it's been nice and warm down south. Oh yeah, I mean we didn't have a bad weather day. The highs were in the low 80s, the lows were in the 60s, and we had an absolute blast. It was just perfect weather. You couldn't have yeah, that's all we did. We ate, we slept, we stuck our toes in the sand. That's it. That was primarily it. We just enjoyed ourselves. Whatever hey, you want to take a nap? Okay. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's truly about it. I went off the grid. No, yeah, exactly. Which we'll get into it. We will get into it, my friends. Trust me. Let's see. What else did I see here? Let's see. What did I say? What did I just see a minute ago? I was the one who hid your bathing suit. Sorry. I wonder where that thing went. I couldn't find that thing forever. I don't know how you do it, sir, but your intelligence gathering capabilities. Are you sure you're not working for the CIA? Seriously? Really? I tell you the truth. I tell you the truth. Yeah, it was an absolutely great vacation. It really was. And I'm glad to be back. Charged, got a little more charge in my batteries now, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. We've got folks hanging out with us over on there on X. We got folks hanging out on Rumble. We got folks on YouTube. Glad to have y'all here this morning. We are loaded with memes, with stories to talk about. Yes, there's all kinds of news, as you would suspect. And we're going to get into a lot of it. Usually around a topic about 4 or 5 different topics, but some you might expect. We're going to get into the Iran updates on the Iran-U.S. war. We're going to get into some other stuff, and some commentary. And I want to hear from you guys. I mean, you guys have been keeping an eye on the shop while I've been gone. So, if you got, and again, as always, if you've got a story that you think we ought to be talking about, hey, let's hear it. Drop me a link in on X. My DMs are open. And while you're at it, hit me up in the DM, tag me on something, be glad to see if we can take a look at it and talk about it. So, all right, let's get down to business, such as this. Now, it's Saturday and it's also springtime. You lie like a bad rug. Oh, you fibber, you. Oh my goodness. I have no doubt about it. Jeremy is a streaming beast. He is absolutely, I love that man, but he is absolutely, goodness me. Let's see. Well, now I did do some hat shopping, just to let you guys know. I've got to get some a couple of accoutrements to go with my new hats, but they will be displayed soon on varying live streams. Oh, by the way, before I forget, before we jump into everything, announcement: this Tuesday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, an old friend of this channel has invited me to come back on his live stream. Robert Herr, Herr, he has something called the Spin Cycle. And at 9 p.m. Eastern, I'm going to be on his channel. As soon as he's got the link up for it, I'll start posting it around. But yeah, if you guys are interested, he's going to host me on his channel this Tuesday night at 9 p.m. And, we'll see what kind of conversations he wants to get into. So I'm looking forward to talking to him, and he's going to have me on his channel this Tuesday night at 9 p.m. And with that, all right, folks, let's get down to business. Now it's Saturday, and of course, there are going to be many things that you do aside from hanging out with this live stream. And one of them is, odds are you may be mowing your yard. However, be advised, folks, it may very well be that sooner or later, you may not even need to be doing that. In this age of technological advancement, in this era in which AI and other things are supposedly making life easier for all of us, well, turns out, if you're in the commercial mowing business, you may be up the creek pretty soon. Folks, I got sent this by, I think it's TBA. Check this out. The estimates that I've seen say this thing can mow grass to the tune. Let me find the X post that goes along with this. Yeah, an hour and a half, an acre and a half to 2.5 acres every hour. Doesn't need breaks, doesn't get tired, doesn't need water breaks, whatever. It just keeps on mowing for you. Now, it's going to be a long time. Well, maybe not either. It may be a thing where it never gets to that level. But if they've already got one of these babies teed up for the commercial lawn mowing business, how much longer before? Because, I mean, let's be honest about it. And I'm not trying to make a joke here. I am being serious. There are individuals who make their living on their ability to mow folks' grass. They mow their yards. I mean, I know the lady has a gentleman in where she lives, and aside from taking care of her yard on a regular basis, he mows God only knows how many different yards in the area where she lives. Well, if one or more of those people decide, you know what, I like the guy, but on the other hand, maybe I could find a better way to do it. They invest in one of these things that's smaller, that you can do at the individual level, like a small yard. Man, he might be up the creek. As far as his business, start cutting into his profit margin or his ability to even make money, period. So who knows? So be on the lookout, folks. I mean, they've got Roombas that can clean carpets in your house. Now they've got commercial grade AI lawnmowers. Oh boy, crazy. Now, speaking of jokes played on your pets that don't go the way you plan, here we got an example that was sent in to us, and it's downright funny. It really is. So we'll share it with you. So the next time you decide to play a prank on your cat that involves you using your phone, just remember, it might wind up going like this.
Garfield, I summon thee to smite my...
Can you not cast a spell on me right now?
Fine.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like I say, if you're ever going to use your phone to play a prank on your cat, just make sure that you don't have another call coming in at the same time. Tends to help. Good. Listen, if they invent one of those, okay, then I'm going to get interested. Okay. I mean, there's a lot of house chores I don't mind doing, but I mean, and yes, I'm the one using the facilities, but still, if I could get some kind of Roomba cleaner that cleans my toilet, I'll be very happy about that. I don't know. I don't know. Well, yeah, that's true too. I don't blame you there. Don't blame you there. Now we have a discussion going among the Wingnuts about when and if you should get off your lawnmower to get another beer. Oh my goodness, you guys are crazy over there on Rumble. You really are. I love you guys. Love you to death. All right, what else do we have here? We have another porch pirating video that's been sent in to us, and this one is just downright funny. I love these Ring cameras that folks now have on their front door because they're there for so many obvious good reasons. But one of the side benefits of having a Ring camera on your door is some of the hilarity that ensues when you capture some of these images. And if you don't believe what I'm talking about, ladies and gentlemen, may I recommend you check this one out.
Sir, can you please leave my packages alone?
I'm not.
I've already called the cops.
Well, tell them that I was just pushing your packages closer to the door.
That's not what you're doing, sir.
You're
opening through my packages.
Where are you, sir? Are you home? No, otherwise you'd be out here. So calm down. I'm not gonna stop.
I gotta know.
Now, the guy makes a good point here. I mean, seriously, if you were at home, don't you think you'd already be out there confronting the guy? Seriously? So, this is just, oh my goodness.
Notification on my phone.
Good. Is there anything worth stealing in here? Because if there isn't, I'll honestly just leave it.
No, of course I'm going to tell you there isn't.
Oh my God. Is this a big chocolate dildo?
No.
Oh, no. It's 5 candles.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, thank you for digging through my stuff.
Thank you.
What?
Thank you for giving me something to do tonight. I'm bored out of my mind.
Jeez. I've always heard the expression that idle hands are the devil's workshop, but seriously, this guy is so bored, he goes onto his neighbor's front porch to see what kind of packages he can rummage through and items he can steal. Seriously? Oh my Lord, just insane. Just insane. Oh, that was one of you guys. Now look, wait a minute. You don't want to be. Look, if you're that guy, if one of you are that guy, seriously, you want to send in a video of yourself to have it broadcast over the internet? I mean, look, I always gave the Wingnuts credit for being very, very smart, but if you guys are doing that kind of stuff, I've got to reevaluate my position. Okay, I tell you. Okay, we're not going to revisit that comment. It was candles. It just for the record, folks, it was candles. Okay, the guy ordered candles. It was not a big chocolate dildo. Well, you can come hang out on my porch. I'll be glad to host you, my dear. Glad to host you. Oh, goodness me. Goodness me. Anyway, going back to what we were saying a little minute ago about AI being able to invent things and enhance our lives and make them better. I mean, everybody is using AI for everything, particularly college graduates. Okay. And I get it. I mean, look, you use the technology that's presented to you, and the younger you are, the more easy it is to adapt. Okay. Me, for various reasons, I'm still having my troubles, I guess, even trusting AI to do things for me. I like that. I'm old fashioned. I like that direct hands-on approach. If I'm going to do something, I want to do it myself, particularly if I'm writing. Okay. However, the younger generation is using AI to their full advantage, particularly even with resume writing. However, I think some of them are taking it just a little bit too far, and they're crossing the line between utilizing technology that is to their benefit to make their life easier versus just being plain old lazy. And if you don't believe me, I've got an example of a recent resume that a college graduate used for AI, and you guys be the judge on this one. I don't know about you, but if this is an example, widespread example of what these kids are doing as far as how they're utilizing AI to write their resumes and such like that, uh, somebody needs to go have a talk with these children. Seriously. Matter of fact, let me just play the old man card here and reach out right now. Ladies, young people, particularly those of you who are college graduates or soon to be college graduates. Listen, AI will only get you so far. Okay. Sooner or later, you have to sit down at this old fashioned thing called your keyboard. Okay. You checking this out? Your keyboard here. See this? You got to sit down at your keyboard and you got to type. Okay. AI cannot do everything for you. And frankly, you do not want AI doing something like this. Okay. Because the second that your potential employer looks at this on your resume, your interview's done. You might be sitting there for another 5 minutes or so, but your interview is done. Okay. So do yourself a favor, actually do some writing on your own without AI. Okay. Just saying. A public service message from your friendly neighborhood Front Porch Conservative. There you go. Well, Elon says a lot of things, and look, Elon is a very smart guy. I'm sorry. Okay, let me just react to this a little bit, if you'll permit me, okay? I think, and maybe I'm wrong, and you guys are always at liberty to tell me that I am full of crap, okay? But I really do think at some point there is going to be a reaction against AI. Now here's what I'm getting at. At some point, we're going to get to the place where AI is so pervasive and so, how do I want to say this? So everywhere that people are going to react against it by wanting more human interaction, more human hands-on effort in terms of the things that they acquire or do or build, whatever. I mean, and again, I could be dead wrong about. Well, I fully expect you to say that I'm full of crap, even when I'm not wrong. WWG1, and if you didn't say that I say something like that, I'd be bitterly disappointed in you. I mean, seriously. Everybody's lives matters, Your Highness. Bless your heart. But no, I really do. Much like anything else in life, you can have too much of a good thing. For example, and this is a small example of what I'm talking about, but I think this is going to be the same kind of thing. Can I go to Walmart and get almost anything I want? Sure. I can buy clothing at Walmart. I can buy shoes at Walmart. I can buy food at Walmart. I can buy almost any home good item that I need. And there are Walmarts being built that are enormous in their size and scope. Okay. And they can do things on a scale like nobody's ever seen. Okay. However, and give me an F in the chat if you're this way. I mean, I'll tell you myself, I am. How many of you all things being equal, if you could walk into your local neighborhood grocery store, okay, And when I say neighborhood grocery store, I don't mean a Kroger, I don't mean a Meijer, I don't mean a Publix, which by the way, I tried out Publix for the very first time in Florida. Oh my gosh, I am in love with that chain. I would give a lot to see Publix open up a store here in my area. Oh my goodness, I love the place. But anyway, how many of y'all would give a lot, all things being equal, to walk into your local neighborhood grocery store, mom and pop operation, not a Meijer, not a Kroger, not a Publix, not a Piggly Wiggly, a small neighborhood grocery store, mom and pop operation, and buy a lot of the items that you could otherwise get if you went to a Kroger or a Meijer or a Publix or a Piggly Wiggly or a Walmart. I'd venture to say, if y'all were being perfectly honest about it, and again, you're free to disagree with me on this, all things being equal, you'd go to your local neighborhood mom and pop grocery store because it's people. It's people you know. It's your neighborhood. You walk in there, you're going to see people that you know. You're going to see your neighbor from, maybe 2 blocks over. You're going to see somebody that, lives down the street from you, whatever. Okay. And this is, and part of it is Walmarts and Meijers and Kroger. Exactly. They've driven the small mom and pops out of business. One of the last ones here in my area, and I'm going to drop a name, and most of y'all that live outside of my hometown are not going to know this, but for those of you who live in my area, you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about. It used to be called Mansour's Market. Okay. And when I say it was a mom and pop operation, it was just that. It was owned locally by a family. It was on the corner of such and such avenue and thus and such street. And you could literally go in there and get most anything you wanted. And some of it was neighborhood specific. For example, the neighborhood in which I live, maybe not so much anymore, but used to have a very large Jewish presence. Okay. That store, Mansour's, would have certain items for people who were either religiously Jewish or they were ethnically Jewish. Not everything in the store, but if there was a certain item that a person of either Jewish religious faith or Jewish ethnicity that they wanted to purchase, they could go to Mansour's and get it. And even after the store changed hands, the new owner kept the same practice. Okay. I'm not getting my matzah from anywhere these days. No matzah for me. But yeah, that's the kind of thing I'm talking about. And that's why I think AI, going back to where all this started, that's what I think is going to happen with AI. AI is going to get so pervasive that sooner or later there's going to be a reaction against it. I mean, the reaction is already starting to happen. Okay. In various aspects of where AI is starting to permeate into our lives. Okay. Now, how successful that reaction will be, how big it's going to be, who knows? But I get the feeling, as with all, there's going to be a saturation point at which people are just going to say, enough of this AI stuff. I want to talk to a human being. I want to deal with a person in my neighborhood. I want to, whatever, again, I could be totally wrong about this, but just, the more I think about that, when it was sent in, the more I think, I think that's going to happen. Yeah. This is a good point. Back in the day, those were movies. Now, 20, 25, 30 years later, those movies are becoming real life. Patty, this is so true. This is so true. My mom, there was a local chain here in our area. I'll just go ahead and drop the name. It was a company known as Drug Emporium. Okay. They were fantastic. My mom had been getting her prescriptions filled there for probably 2 decades or more. And after she moved from the house she'd been living in for years, and she moved into another area even closer to that particular store. They would do home deliveries to her, which was great. My mom would call in the prescription. She'd call in her address. She'd pay for it with a debit or credit card. They would deliver it to her usually within 24 hours. It was fantastic. They went out of business. And now she's having to deal with a larger pharmacy. And it's just, I mean, look, I'm obviously younger than my mother, and I'm more adept at dealing with, telephone systems and internet and all that. But even for me, it's just frustrating dealing with this particular pharmacy. And it's not the fault of the people that work there. I mean, they're nice people, but it's just, it's just so frustrating the way they do things. Whereas Drug Emporium, they were great. They are great. WWG1 says, I had a Drug Emporium in my neighborhood. Turned out it was a guy hanging out. Oh, for God's sake. Not that kind of Drug Emporium. Good God. Yeah. It was cash and carry. That's true. Tragically, Gypsy, you may be right. You may be. I mean, I hope you're wrong, but got a funny feeling you may be right. Anyway, one moment, folks. Got to get a sip of some agawa. All right. Oh, God. Anyway, speaking of shopping and grocery shopping, have y'all ever been in a situation where you have gone over to a relative's house and you just happened to open up their refrigerator looking for something, or they asked you to get something out of the refrigerator, and you notice that something is expired? Now, if this has happened to you, give me an F in the chat, okay? Because I want to hear from you on because this next one you're going to watch, you will appreciate. If you've ever been through that situation, you're going to appreciate this more than anybody. So if you've ever been in a situation where you've gone to a relative's house, particularly your parents or an aunt or an uncle, etc., if you've ever been in a situation where you've had that happen, and you found something that was expired, give me an F in the chat, because this next one is for you, and you're going to appreciate this maybe more than people even know. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy, or maybe reflect upon, reflect upon the hilarity that is our next selection.
Mom, this expired in 2017.
No.
It's still good.
No. 2015?
Mama, it's expired. That don't matter. Okay, I get that, but you're telling me this thing and it's expired November 2024.
Just buy that.
The cheeses you can get rid of.
No, I'm not getting rid of them.
Can I just see the expiration date?
What?
It's fine. Make a fucking grilled cheese with it. Stop it.
All right, Mom. You moved with this. It expired over 2 years ago.
1/31/25.
Yeah, but I haven't even opened it.
Yeah, and you don't want to take a chance and kill yourself.
Hey, save that. That's perfectly good.
You're not throwing the canned food away, so you might as well just back up. It's expired.
Okay. Now, honestly, how many of y'all have been through this? Seriously, I know I have. Yeah, it had mold on it. Exactly. I'll put it back in there and make a grilled cheese out of it. It'll be fine. I mean, how many of y'all have been through this? Lord knows I tell you the truth. I speak truth now, y'all. I have been through this with my family members. Okay. Okay, 15 years is long enough. Bless your heart. You should have thrown them out. Okay. Oh, you're saying that sounds like your wife? Okay. Salty, that's between you and Mrs. Salty. Okay. Jeez. Mold is like penicillin, it'll be fine. Yeah. Here's one for you. How many of y'all have heard this? I just picked the mold off. It's perfectly fine. It's all good. Mold has my oxygen. I don't check. Jeez. Exactly. But again, how many of y'all have been to a relative's house? How many of y'all have been to a relative's house and you've had this very thing happen? You better, hey, you're not throwing out those canned goods. You just back right up right now. You're not about to get rid of those. They expired 7 years ago. I don't care. We haven't opened them. We haven't used them, and you ain't getting rid of it. Y'all know I'm right. Well, at TBA, you've got a really good point here. You know, I mean, my mother was born 1937. Still with me. God love her. Ma Trippett is still with us. And she has that mentality. I mean, we went out to lunch yesterday at a local restaurant. And they brought a bunch of napkins, right? And again, I'm not criticizing her. I'm just saying this to point out the generational difference. What did she do? She took the extra napkins and put them in her purse, which again, perfectly fine. She can do that if she wants to. But yeah, Depression era folks, they're like, look, we don't know how long when this is going to come along. You know, exactly. Well, good point. Good point. You know, good point. You know, she put all of them in her purse. And again, not criticizing. She has the right to do it. They left them there. I mean, you know, but there's that mentality, you know, we're not going to get rid of anything unless it's absolutely have no choice, you know. Well, and this is true too. And my dad grew up on a farm where they had a root cellar. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about. So, but yeah, I thought you guys get a kick out of that one. Now, every so often, we will always bring you something philosophical to consider. And I think it was a Salty who sent me this one. Yeah, it was Salty who sent me this one. And you know what? I'm just going to pop this one up on the screen, and you guys can, you know, ruminate on this one as much as you like. I mean, 3, 2, 1, here we go. And like I say, some things we bring you just for your consideration. Do with that one as you will. All right. What else do we have here? Oh, yes. Here's another one for you. How many of y'all have been out, not necessarily even late at night, okay? But you go in somewhere that's just almost on the edge of closing. You walk in, you see people working behind the counter, and you can tell they're kind of winding it down. Have you ever wondered what their reaction would be like if you decide to order something? Well, ladies and gentlemen, check this out.
Hi. How you doing? I know you're about to close, but can I get 10 cheeseburgers? 10 cheeseburgers? 10 cheeseburgers? No!
Hi, I know you guys are closing soon, but can I still order?
Of course.
Okay, can I please get 6 cheeseburgers? and then 6 banana splits.
Hey, I know you guys close in a few minutes, but can I still get food?
Yeah, of course. What can I get for you?
Can I do a large pepperoni pizza?
Yeah.
Can I do 4 cookie skillets?
Yeah.
32 wings.
Hey, I know you guys close in 2 minutes, but can I please place an order?
Yeah, of course. What can I get you?
Can I actually get...
Okay. I love you. I love you guys. I love all of you. But if I ever hear any reports of police having to show up in y'all's neck of the woods because one of y'all went into one of these fast food places right before they're about to close and you place an order like this, I love you, but we're going to have words. Don't you dare do this to somebody, which I know I'm messing with you. I know you wouldn't anyway, but still. Oh boy. Yeah, can you imagine these poor kids? Which, I mean, again, well, I mean, you know, whether you're being tongue in cheek, don't you do it. Don't you do it. Don't you dare, WWG1. No, you behave yourself. But I mean, you know, yeah, I mean, bless their hearts. They're winding down their day. And there are all kinds of observations made about individuals that work at fast food. Okay. Some of them are just sometimes derogatory. Okay. But, you know, they're trying to make a living. You know, they're earning money. They're doing a job. You know, would you want this to happen to you with maybe 10 minutes before you close? No. No. Look, you're encouraging WWG1 here. Now stop that. Nobody's holding bail money for anybody here. Forget it. Okay. No, we are not doing that. Seriously. As the omnipotent host, I am putting my foot down on this right now. No, absolutely not. You're not, especially you wing nuts. Forget it. No, absolutely not. You're not doing this to your local fast food workers in your hometowns, okay? I get wind of it. We're having words. Exactly. All right. Sorry, I should have shown you this next one earlier. Speaking of the future with AI and technology and everything else, man, we are rolling out stuff all the time. And the folks, well, okay, yeah, you've got a point, but still, it's one thing to give them the idea. It's another thing for the two goofballs to actually do something with it. I mean, seriously, is every idea I put out there going to be something that someone's like, hey, this sounds like a good idea? No, it's not. Don't. Anyway, AI, technological advances, everything else. I mean, anytime you turn around, we've got some new thing. Well, Apple is no different. And they have now come out with a new piece of technology that they just rolled out on the market. Okay. As a matter of fact, we got our folks are everywhere, and we got a video from, I guess, a recent conference where they rolled out one of their newest products. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, look at the future. Here it comes.
I will unveil to you our newest eye technology, and it will synergize with all of our eye products. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the eye rack.
The eye rack looks unstable.
Trust me, the intelligence briefings I got on the eye rack are completely credible.
The eye rack looks like something we shouldn't be involved with. It looks like you put it together with no directions.
I'm confident the eye rack will work without any directions or plans of any sort.
Oh, but the eye rack looks all shaky. I mean, you are going to fix it, right?
Wrong. This is the eye rack as we intended. Mission accomplished. What the eye rack needs is more things.
You shouldn't be putting more things in. You should be taking things out.
Yeah, get things out of the Iraq.
Does everyone here want me to take things out of the Iraq? I hear what you're saying, and the answer is no. I will help the process along by throwing the rest of our money at the Iraq.
You're ruining the Iraq.
Well, where's the exit? How do we get out of here?
You can't get out of here. There is no exit strategy. Now, I want you all to stop focusing on the Iraq and start focusing on our newest product, the Iran.
I don't know about you guys, folks, but I don't think Apple is going to have a successful product launch when this thing rolls out big time to the public. I don't know. It's just kind of, for Apple, I'm not feeling real good about this one. Not that I've got Jim Cramer like, predictability when it comes to the value of a stock, but I think Apple may be about to take a hit. Just saying. Ay. Again, another philosophical statement that, well, it's a legitimate question. It's a legitimate question. I don't know, man. I don't know. Anyway, another philosophical statement for your consideration, and we hope you enjoy this one as you ruminate over the following. So there you go, folks. Just ponder the meaning of that one. I think you'll find it very enlightening. All right. Handful more of these things. We'll get down to business. Because, being away for a week, I got loaded up when I came back. One thing about the current Trump presidency, it's making people, regardless of party, appreciate what things were like under Joe Biden. As a matter of fact, if you don't believe me, consider the following. Yeah. People are actually looking back to the time when Biden would say things like, "Trust all that," and then sniffed a kid. There you go. Well, I'm trying to be fair to everybody who has contributed. Truly. I am trying to be fair because it's been a while since we've all been together, and you know what? I've got the time. So, we're trying to make some funny happen here. And we thank our folks hanging out with us on X, on Rumble, on YouTube, and we're checking everything out. We're seeing what we got. So there you go. Let's see, what else do we have here? Now that I stop and think about it, some of these I may hold off till next week because at some point we got to get down and talking about the news. But a couple or three more of these. And let's see, what else do we have here? Yes. People have been trying to find a way to express maybe not the word what, but how it is that Israel is getting the U.S. to help them in this conflict against Iran. And people have been trying to put it into words. They've been trying to find a way to phrase it, and nobody seems to be able to encapsulate this relationship between Israel, the United States, and their common enemy, Iran. Until now, someone has finally figured out a way how to succinctly sum up the relationship between these three countries. And you know what? They didn't even need that many words to do it. All they had to do was post one picture. And if you don't believe me, Now ask yourself, does this not truly sum up? Does this not truly sum up the relationship between Israel, the United States, and Iran? I mean, seriously. This, honestly, this sums it up better than anybody can possibly imagine. Truly. You know. Now, TBA, seriously, do not be cheeky. Seriously? My goodness. I apologize for TBA, folks, because you never know what's going to come out of his keyboard. I tell you what. Oh. You did not, you lying sack of crap. Oh, for heaven's sake. Anyway. Yeah, I think it was TBA who sent this to me, and I looked at it and I went, boy, that really does sum it up. How is it that Israel keeps getting us to do stuff against Iran, which works out to their benefit? Well, there you go, folks. There you go. All right. What else do we have here? Yes. You know, what is it like when the European Union helps out, the United States during all this stuff that's going on? Well, if you want an idea, check it out. Okay, so the EU is unloading stuff. So we're doing stuff, and the EU is doing stuff with us, and the EU is taking our stuff, and the EU is getting ready to load it up on their stuff. Okay, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, that's a pretty good descriptor for how the relationship is going. All right, one more thing, and then we'll get down to some news. And I appreciate your indulgence in this because, like I say, I've been away for a little while. We got a lot of memes and stuff to talk about. So I appreciate your indulgence. Then we're going to get into some commentary here shortly. A lot has been made recently about Donald Trump and expressions of religiosity, and particularly not just toward Christianity, but even toward the Islam, people who practice the religion of Islam. Well, in an effort, I guess, to outreach to the Iranian people and to the practitioners of the Islamic religion in general, Donald Trump is trying something that I don't think any American president has ever done before. And if you're wondering what I'm referring to, we have a video from the president where he's sending a direct message to not just the people of Iran, but all those individuals in the Middle East who practice the Islamic religion. And if you haven't seen it yet, well, folks, here you go.
Assalamu alaikum, bitches. This is your new Ayatollah speaking. Well, if you think about it, I'm more like your new I told you. Because I told you this would happen if you kept fucking around instead of taking JD's deal. My first order of business, new I told you, will be to take over the Strait of Hormuz and to bring back bikinis to Iran. We're going to have big, beautiful beach parties all along the coast with delicious margaritas and sexy mamacitas. Anyway, we're the captains now, bitches. America is back, bigger, stronger, and hotter than ever before. Believe me.
Okay, so now apparently Trump has decided to be the Ayatollah of the Islamic religion. So, I don't know, folks. Take it for what it's worth. Anyway, all right, as always, much thanks to WWG1. Much thanks to TBA. Much thanks to Salty. Much thanks to everybody. The memes this morning have been absolutely glorious, funny, and in some cases wholly inappropriate. And as always, if you have a meme or a story idea that you want to share, hey, right down here, that's where you can find me on X. Now, my DMs are open. You can tag me on X however you want to do it. But hey, feel free to share. And, the host, as always, reserves the right to use or not use what you contribute. But more often than not, it will find its way up on the screen. So with that in mind, feel free to share. Let's all have some fun with it. And with that, let's get down to some news. Okay. First compartment of the train. And I said at the very top of the live stream, I go away for a little while, all heck breaks loose, and the world goes crazy. It's the ultimate form of Limbaugh syndrome, right? Well, yes and no. Things are breaking loose. Has anything really changed? I don't know. Now, if you're wondering what I'm referring to, over the past, call it, let's just say since Tuesday, okay, we have had all kinds of proclamations from Donald Trump. We've had all kinds of responses from Iran. We've had responses from Israel. And in the midst of all these responses and messages and counter messaging and everything else, has anything really changed? Yeah, I don't think so. That said, I'm about to make a statement that I never thought in my lifetime I would ever make. And I think this is more the fault of Donald Trump, maybe, than anything else, the statement I'm about to make. And the statement goes like this. Frankly, after the past, call it 45 days of us being involved in this military campaign or war, and I still call it a war, that's exactly what it is. After 45 days of being involved in this war with Iran, I have come to the conclusion that I am more prepared to believe statements coming out of the Islamic Republic of Iran than I am out of the mouth of our own president. And I was thinking about that this morning, and I'm like, I never thought the day would ever come out to actually say that. But you know what? Frankly, let's put it this way. It's reached the point that when Donald Trump says something related to this, what's going on in Iran, I want independent confirmation from somebody else. And if you're wondering what I'm referring to specifically, I've got a bunch of posts from Truth Social. Well, yeah, and this is a good point. This is a really good point, Gypsy, and I cannot disagree with you. I really can't. I can't. But if you're wondering specifically what I'm referring to, let me show you a series of Truth Social posts from Trump and then show you either the news that's being reported or the response to the post. For example, and this is from yesterday, the Strait of Hormuz, and this is Donald Trump's Truth Social post. The Strait of Hormuz is completely open and ready for business and full passage, but the naval blockade will remain in full force and effect as it pertains to Iran only until such time as our transaction with Iran is 100% complete. This process should go very quickly in that most of the points are already negotiated. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. Okay. Now that's related to the Strait of Hormuz. It's completely open and ready for business and full passage. Okay. There's just one little problem with that. And it goes like this. According to the AP, and this is the Associated Press, this came out this morning at 4:34 a.m., Iran reimposes restrictions in Strait of Hormuz. Iran has reversed course, and this is an article by Sam Metz. Iran has reversed course on reopening the Strait of Hormuz, warning that it would continue to block transit through the narrow waterway as long as the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports remains in effect. The country's joint military command said, quote, control of the Strait of Hormuz has returned to its previous state under strict management and control of the armed forces. It warned that it would continue to block transit through the strait as long as the U.S. blockade of Iranian ports remains in effect. The announcement came the morning after U.S. President Donald Trump said the blockade will remain in full force until Tehran reaches a deal with the U.S., including on its nuclear program. Okay. So who am I to believe here? Am I to believe Donald Trump or am I to believe the Iranians? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm not salty. I'm not saying you're wrong. But let's see how this shakes out. Let's just see how this shakes out. Yeah, this is a great way to describe. This is a great way to describe what's going on. We have a deal. We do not have a deal. We have a deal. We do not have a deal. We have a deal. We do not have a deal. We have a deal, and we do not have a deal. The heck? Well, now, see, I'm not sure about that. And I'm not saying that to just take a contrary position, but from what I understand about the Strait of Hormuz, it's an area, it's a waterway about 42 nautical miles wide. Half of the Strait of Hormuz, 21 miles of it, Iran claims control of. The other half is claimed by either the UAE or by Oman, one of the two. So I'm not totally sure if that's international waterway or not. I mean, we'll see. But there's a nice breeze coming through my office this morning. One moment, folks. I'll be right with you. Hang on one second. I'm not going anywhere. I'll be right back. Just got to take care of something real fast. Oh, hopefully this is not going to be too bright. But give me a second here, folks. Trying to make this as one moment, almost there. Okay. Now, if this is too bright, just let me know, okay? It's not bad. It's going to get there. Just give it a minute. I did not knock over the chamber pot. I do not use a chamber pot. Thank you very much. Oh, okay. So it is Oman. It is Oman that claims part of the Strait of Hormuz. Okay. Okay. That's what I thought. That's what I thought. Okay. All right. TB ad. Okay. This is a better explanation. The strait is only 21 nautical miles wide at its narrowest. The 12 miles claims of Iran and Oman overlap, meaning every ship transiting the strait will always within sovereign territorial water. Yeah, see there. I see that's not. I mean, I understand the concept of international water, but the Strait of Hormuz is a little bit different, which to me is part of the reason I will scream this. I will scream this till my dying breath. Why Saudi Arabia does not dig a canal that cuts across the desert above Yemen and leads right into the Red Sea, I have no idea. Yeah. Well, yeah. Robert, good morning to you. Glad to have you with us, sir. Good to see you, and a fist bump in your general direction. Yeah, it's just we're getting statements, the Strait of Hormuz is open. And no, it's not. Then you get this one. Okay. Then you get this. Again, Donald Trump's Truth Social. This is yesterday around 10 o'clock in the morning Eastern. The USA will get all nuclear, quote, dust created by our great B-2 bombers No money will exchange hands in any way, shape, or form. This deal is in no way subject to Lebanon either, but the USA will separately work with Lebanon and deal with the Hezbollah situation in an appropriate manner. Israel, now here's the line that really is kicking everybody. Israel will not be bombing Lebanon any longer. They are prohibited from doing so by the U.S. Enough is enough. Thank you, President DJT. Okay. So yeah, Israel is not going to bomb Lebanon anymore. Do you hear that? Well, hey, just one little problem with that. Yeah, in theory, a 10-day ceasefire goes into effect, but did it last very long? Well, it depends on who you ask. I got a clip here from the folks at Al Jazeera News, which take it with a grain of salt. As a matter of fact, you can take with a grain of salt the AP, Reuters, or anybody else for that matter. Did Israel really agree to a ceasefire? Well, check this out.
You might have seen the US announcement that the Gaza ceasefire is moving into phase 2. That's because the goals of phase 1, which began on October 10, have supposedly been achieved. But have they? Here's a refresher, in case you missed it. First, the ceasefire deal between Israel and Hamas was supposed to bring just that, a ceasefire. But that hasn't happened. Gaza's Ministry of Health says continued Israeli attacks have killed 449 Palestinians and wounded another 1,246.
Wait a minute. Wrong video. Apologies, folks. Yeah, we're getting reports. that Israel has already violated the ceasefire in southern Lebanon. So it's like, who am I to believe here? As a matter of fact, by the way, speaking of that, there have been a lot of commentators who have made note of the fact, and I think it's becoming painfully obvious, that Israel is burning through, let me rephrase that, the current government of Israel is burning through its goodwill capital here in the U.S. faster than it realizes. Now, what do I mean by goodwill capital? Well, okay, hang on one second, folks. Sorry about this. That's just too bright, even by my standards. If the sun were behind the clouds, it would be quite snap. There we go. Okay. What do I mean by goodwill capital? Well, primarily what I'm getting at is this. There's a certain amount of automatic goodwill that people of one nation might extend to the other. Okay. And depending on the actions of one nation to the other, the amount of goodwill can go up or down. The problem for the government of Israel is their actions, not just in this conflict, but in recent years, is burning through that goodwill here in the United States faster than Israel realizes. And if you don't believe me, I've got an article here from Axios, which, by the way, there have been some individuals and news organizations have been doing some fantastic reporting ever since all this started. Mario Naufal on X is great. Is a great follow on this stuff. Axios has been pretty good. So if you're going to, everybody has their own source of information. However, if you're going to, check out anybody and say, hey, who can I really read for some good coverage? I gotta say it. I recommend Axios. I really can't. Anyway, I've got an article here, and the headline is Bibi torched U.S. support for Israel for a generation. Okay. This is by Andrew Solender and Justin Green. Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is wreaking havoc on Israel's standing with Americans as the Iran war supercharges a deterioration in relations with the U.S. Israel's polling collapse among younger Americans is hitting Congress too. Lawmakers who started out staunchly pro-Israel are becoming increasingly vocal critics. Quote, "We need to have a discussion about how to normalize that relationship and what changes are necessary. There's no doubt about that," said Jason Crow, Democrat of Colorado. Every Senate Democrat who's eyeing a 2028 presidential run voted against arms sales to Israel in votes earlier this week. 40 Senate Democrats voted on a resolution to block arms sales to Israel, up from just 15 in a similar vote last April. Netanyahu is, quote, "destroying the bipartisan nature in terms of support for Israel," says Senator Ruben Gallego, Democrat of Arizona. Some Democrats are turning against defensive support, including funding for Israel's Iron Dome missile defense system. That was, quote, seen as insanely fringe years ago, said Maxwell Frost, Democrat of Florida. But multiple Democrats who voted for Iron Dome funding in 2021 told Axios they're done providing financial aid to Israel. Older Republicans and white evangelicals are the last group to hold majority favorable views of Israel, according to recent Pew polling. Israel's favorability has collapsed since 2022, down 31 percentage points among older Democrats, age 50 or up, down 22 points among both younger Republicans, GOP leaners, and younger Democrats and Democrat leaners, down 14% among Protestants, 23% among Catholics, and 20% among the religiously unaffiliated. Even white evangelical support, which was 80% in 2022, has slid 15 points. You know, Rich Barris, among others, and, you know, you guys will hear me quote Barris a lot, but Barris has been doing polling on this for quite a while now, and I'm telling you what, and it might not be too much longer, that support for the actions of the government of Israel here in the U.S. are going to be underwater in terms of public opinion. And when that happens, how much help are the Israelis going to get out of the U.S. Congress as far as money, military arms, etc.? Look, and maybe Benjamin Netanyahu just doesn't care. He's like, he's rolling the dice and saying, okay, we're going for it all. We're going to do it in one shot. But buddy, you got to live with whatever's left when you're done. And I'm telling you right now, and I could be dead wrong about this, but it wouldn't surprise me if in the next 5 or 6 years, if somebody does a public poll about, you know, what Americans think about Israel, if the majority opinion is negative. Again, I could be wrong. Oh, but they're our ally in the Middle East. Really? They're our ally? Our ally is getting us into a war that's draining our resources, which at minimum is benefiting us. How? That's what our ally is doing for us? Just saying. Good morning, Midmo. Haven't seen you in a while, brother. Fist bump to you. Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. Scott Awesome says, I've been noticing Trump has been having more issues since his last booster shot. His voice, red, swollen neck at times, and contradicting himself in the same tweet or speech. You know, you're not the only one. You're not the only one that's noticed this. A lot of people have been getting very concerned about Trump's health, be it physical or mental. I mean, there's some people out there going so far as to say he's ready for the 25th Amendment because he's either gone insane or something. But honest, and laying that aside, Scott, you're not the only one that's noticed this. You're really not. And going back to the article we just read, TBA says maybe the whole point is to diminish Israel's support by America. Could be. Could be. Our reps are going to give up AIPAC money and their dual citizenship to convince. Well, okay. Okay. True that. True that. Gypsy says, as I've said, Trump only makes those true so his people can play in the markets. Well, if not his people play in the markets, at a minimum, he's manipulating the markets. I'm sorry. That's all I can come to the conclusion of. You know, we're rolling the dice here and playing some games that we ought not be playing. I really don't. I'm watching what's happening, and frankly, it's scaring the crap right out of me. Then you've got Trump saying that we've got a deal in place and probably have something in the next few days. Now you've got the Iranians through the Tasnim news agency. Next round of U.S. talks not approved by Iran yet, Tasnim learns. Out of Tehran, Tasnim news service has found that Iran has so far not agreed to hold the next round of negotiations with the U.S. According to information obtained by Tasnim news agency from relevant authorities, Iran has so far not agreed to the next round of talks with the U.S. due to Trump's announcement regarding a naval blockade, as well as the U.S.'s excessive demands in the negotiations, which have continued in the recent exchange of messages. Iran has made it clear that the avoidance of excessive demands by the U.S. in negotiations is a fundamental condition for the talks to continue. Otherwise, Iran is not seeking to waste time in drawn-out and unproductive negotiations. According to information obtained by Tasnim, the Islamic Republic of Iran's position has been conveyed to U.S. through Pakistan. Now, they bring up something in this, and I want to talk about it for a second. And we've kind of touched on this a few times already. And I don't like the position that we're taking in this. And let me explain what I'm getting at. There's two different tacks that people have taken with regard to Iran and its nuclear ambitions. Okay. And it basically goes like this. Trump has been very consistent about one thing. Above all else, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Okay. I'm not so sure I'd get that cranky about it on that position, but okay, whatever. That's the position of the U.S. government. Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. Okay, fine. But there's a profound difference between that and the position that the Israelis are holding, and frankly, they're pushing us to hold as well, and that is, not only can they not have a nuclear weapon, Iran cannot have any nuclear enrichment of uranium material. Nothing. You cannot enrich uranium for nuclear purposes, yada, yada, yada. Now, whoa, hold on a minute. And I, for my part, I've said this from the start. And again, if you disagree with me, hey, drop a comment. I'd love to hear your guys' take on this. But who are we to tell Iran or any other nation what they can and cannot do as far as, nuclear power is concerned? Because look, am I going to sit here and tell you that I'm some kind of scientific expert on this stuff? No, I'm not. I'm just a guy that reads the news and, tries to use my common sense. But there's a world of difference between making sure a nation does not have a nuclear weapon versus telling them what they can and cannot do with nuclear material. Okay. Well, and you know what? This is an interesting way of putting it. I'm not allowed to have ground coffee in my house, but I'm allowed to have the beans. Well, okay, all right. I can kind of see where you're coming from here. But then again, who are we, or who is any nation to look at another one and say, "Hey, look, you can't have that." I don't care. I'm going to say something that's probably going to shock people. And maybe I'm being monumentally naive, and okay, probably I am. But on the other hand, I don't give a rat's rear end if the Iranians had nuclear material or not. Okay? I don't. You want to have nuclear material? Fine. Have nuclear material. Have some nuclear power plants. I don't care. Go ahead. Now, when you get to the point you're pointing a bomb at somebody with a nuclear warhead on it, okay, then we're going to, all right, that's the problem. Okay? And you're threatening to let one off the chain. That's a problem. But for me to tell you, okay, you cannot enrich uranium, or you cannot have nuclear material at all. What? That's crazy. Let's assume the situation were completely reversed. Let's assume we didn't have nuclear weapons, but our scientists had reached the point that we were able to enrich uranium for nuclear power production. But Great Britain is telling us, hey, you guys can't do that. No. We've got the bomb and we don't want you guys getting it. Huh? What? Really? And again, maybe I'm profoundly wrong about this. But I don't care if they've got nuclear material. I don't. And I think that's the biggest problem in these negotiations. It's one thing to say, and by the way, even before all this started, the Iranians have been told, anybody who'll listen to them, us, the foreign minister of Oman, who was heading up the negotiations in Geneva before the conflict broke out in February, the Iranians have said, fine, you don't want us to have a nuclear weapon? Fine. Not only will we not have a nuclear weapon, you can send in inspectors anytime you want to look at our facilities and, make a determination about where we're at. They gave up, they were willing to give up making a nuclear weapon. They were willing to allow inspectors, etc. So it's not like they're just making this stuff up on the fly. And again, I'm not trying to be an apologist for the Republic of Iran, but they've been pretty consistent about this. You don't want us to have a nuclear weapon? Fine. We're not going to have a nuclear weapon. Okay. All right. Fine. I'll grant you that. I'll grant you that. But who fired on who first? Who fired on who first? Because in my recollection about this, the Israelis and the U.S. started this when they started opening fire on the Iranians. And again, I am not trying to shill for the Iranians. I'm not trying to, overlook what their regime has been over the past 40 or 50 years, okay? But we fired the first shot. The Iranians didn't. And again, I know, you're being a peacenik about this. No, I'm not. We fired the first shots. We launched the bombs back last June. That's just me. That's where I'm at on this. I'm just really starting to wonder if we wouldn't be better served. Oh, well, if we're going to go back that far, you can make an argument. You can make an argument in 54 that we and the British helped take down a democratically elected Iranian government. And we set up the Shah. And when the Shah was ready to put down the uprising in 79, we told him, no, stand down, and forced the Shah out. Call me crazy. And again, good people can disagree about this all they want to. And if you guys want to have a contrary opinion of mine, fine. Perfectly fine by me. But I just wonder if we're not our own worst enemy in these negotiations by looking at Iran and saying, hey, no, not even a nuclear weapon. You can't even enrich uranium. Huh? What? So they can't have a nuclear power plant. They can't have, for whatever purposes they want to enrich the uranium. Yeah, Gypsy, you're probably right. Probably so. But anyway, that's where we be with the current updates about what is going on now. What the weekend is going to bring, who knows? Now, that said, ceasefire ends on Wednesday. Are we going to extend this, or are we loading up to do something else? Well, reports are coming out that we're moving a lot of military assets in the Middle East right now, or moving them to the Middle East, I should say. So, just, I don't know. Just that's where we're at. So we'll see what happens. Oh, one more thought here. I know that every nation in a war, especially if they're allies, they're allied by one common cause, but with multiple reasons for wanting to be an ally. I don't understand the dynamic. I don't understand the dynamic between the U.S. and Israel right now. And here's what I'm getting at. Israel gets most of their money from us. Israel gets most of their military weaponry from us. It would seem to me, given that we're supplying the Israelis with their weapons and their money, that when we tell the Israelis we want them to do something, they listen to us. Benjamin Netanyahu's not listening to us. And it hasn't been for a while now, which sort of begs the question, why is he not listening to us? And if he's choosing not to listen to us, what does he know that is somehow impinging upon this relationship between us and the Israelis? I mean, let's just be blunt. Somebody got some blackmail material on somebody? Because that'd be about the only one I can think of that the Israelis aren't going to listen. Among others. I mean, I could be wrong. Just some thoughts. All right. Let us move to a different compartment of the train. But before we do, since it's almost top of the hour, let me do a real quick commercial. And, well, let me point out one thing. Gypsy said this war doesn't have to do with nukes. I know the map you're referring to, the Greater Israel Project. Yeah, you're probably right. Because if that's the case, then Turkey ought to be next, and the Israelis are already making waves about doing something about Turkey. Yeah, Pete. Anyway, let me do a real quick commercial, and then we'll move on to the next topic. My name is Brian Trippett. It is 12 noon on a Saturday. My name is Brian Trippett. I am known in social media as the Front Porch Conservative, and you found your way to Front Porch Brunch. This is a live stream we do on the weekends. We get together, we talk about the news, we give our views, kind of hang out together, and just see what's going on. We've got folks over on X, we've got folks on Rumble, we got folks hanging out on YouTube, and I haven't seen this cat in a while. So, hey, 17 George, good to have you here with us, brother. Oh, Kawan's in the house. The bow and the chapeau is here, as one of the terms I am referred to. So glad to have you all here. And if you're hanging out with us, regardless if it's on X or on Rumble or on YouTube, hey, do me a favor. If you're not subscribed to my channel, go ahead and subscribe. I'd love to hear from you. Also, hit the bell for notifications. share the link around. But for today's live stream, especially, hit the thumbs up button. And while you're at it, go ahead and leave a comment in chat about this particular live stream. It really does help push us out there in the algorithm. So greatly appreciated. Glad to have y'all here with us. And let's now switch to a different compartment of the train. Eric Swalwell. Oh my goodness. Now, I don't know what it is about California politicians, particularly of a certain generation. But anytime I look at either Eric Swalwell or Adam Schiff, I just want to puke. Okay? Because Swalwell, especially Swalwell, okay? Swalwell may be one of the most arrogant men I have ever seen, regardless of party, political belief, whatever. Okay. Just to look at the guy, he just oozes smarmy arrogance. Okay. And for what it's worth, we're going to get to that, Salty. Hold on. We're going to get to that. I saw the one you sent in, brother, and it will be used. Okay. No. I'm sorry. WWG1, I love you. But to call Eric Swalwell a Ken doll is insulting to Ken dolls everywhere. Okay. I can't do that. I just know he's not particularly handsome. He's most certainly not particularly smart. And he's arrogant to boot. I mean, if the guy had one or two redeeming qualities going for him, all right, it doesn't necessarily justify the arrogance, but you could at least understand it. Okay. Number one, he's ugly. Number two, he's stupid. Yeah, but he's just that arrogant. Oh yeah, Minmo, I totally agree with this. He's a goof, a goon. I mean, yeah, he's terrible. And it's not, and my distaste for him doesn't necessarily even have to do with everything I've just talked about. I mean, you can have a contrary political opinion from mine. That's perfectly fine. Well, okay. Ugly is a matter of opinion. I say he's ugly. If you say he's not, we agree to disagree. I can understand where you're coming from. But to me, he's just ugly looking. Okay. How he got that Chinese spy, Fang Fang, to commit bang bang with him, I have no idea. Okay. But and again, now look, this is unproven. This is unproven. We don't know this for sure. I am not going to sit here and make these assertions against his warts or any other part of his person. Thank you very much. Now you're just being insulting to Beto. Good grief. Oh, Fang took one for the team. Okay. This conversation's degenerating fast, folks. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, Eric Swalwell. And it's not even so much that he has a different political opinion than I do, but I mean, as you might expect, being from the land of fruits and nuts, which is the state of California, yeah, he and I don't agree on much. And I could let something go at, not agreeing with somebody politically. Okay. However, one of the more arrogant members of Congress finally got his comeuppance this week, to the point that his political career, at least for the foreseeable future, he's done. And I got a headline here from the AP, and it goes like this. California woman says she was raped by Representative Eric Swalwell in 2018. That's the headline. Article written by Christopher Weber. We have the following. A California woman on Tuesday said she was raped by Representative Eric Swalwell in 2018 and now plans to make a report to law enforcement. Lana Drews said during a news conference that the assault occurred at a hotel in Southern California. She said she had one glass of wine that evening and believes Swalwell drugged her before raping her. Swalwell dropped out of the California governor's race on Sunday and said he would resign from Congress this week following earlier allegations of sexual assault from a different woman. Quote, I did not consent to any sexual activity, Drews said. Attorney Sarah Azari released a statement on Tuesday on Swalwell's behalf, saying that he, quote, categorically and unequivocally denies each and every allegation of sexual misconduct and assault that has been leveled against him. The attorney, Azari, pledged to pursue every available legal remedy against those responsible for orchestrating this reprehensible campaign of lies. And that looks like... Okay, that's Lisa Bloom. I thought that was Gloria Allred for a second. But here's the young lady, Miss Drews, and here is her attorney, Lisa Bloom, at the news conference this week. So that's what started it. Allegations of sexual assault. Well, it's a little bit more than that, folks. It's not just allegations. It's going further than that. I got a story here from the UK Guardian. This was updated from a few days ago. Swalwell under investigation by Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office. Eric Swalwell is under investigation by the LA County Sheriff's Department Special Victims Bureau. The investigation involves the case of an adult female who reported being sexually assaulted by Swalwell in West Hollywood in July 2018. Quote, the investigation remains in its preliminary stages and is ongoing. Investigators are in the process of gathering information, reviewing available evidence, and conducting follow-up inquiries as part of a comprehensive investigative process, the Sheriff's Department said in a statement. Once the investigation is completed, the investigators will present the case to the LA County District Attorney's Office for filing consideration. Yeah, this boy's got problems. Big time. Well, WWG1, you may be right, brother. You may be absolutely right. Well, that's true too. That is true too. Very true. Very, very true. And where's it going to go from here? I don't know. But there is one thing. There is one thing that I don't think this is necessarily over yet. And I'll tell you why. I could not find it. And if somebody can get their hands on it real fast, there was a video. Hang on one second. Let me see if I can get my hands on this real fast. Yeah, there was a video that this is not quite the one I'm looking for, but there's a couple of them. Here's a couple of them. Hang on one second. There's one video that has got everybody's attention, and the video, the clip is not very long. It's a picture of Swalwell. He's on a bed with a young lady in a motel, and oh, Salty, give me a link. Give me a link to that. We'll come back to that. There's a video. And you can see Eric Swalwell here. He's on a bed in a motel somewhere with a young lady. The clip, I mean, it's a 4-second clip. Yeah, okay. Let's. But now, the reason that I play that clip, people have been asking a question. If Swalwell was on the bed, the girl was with him, who shot the video? Okay. Who shot the video? Well, it may, and I said this may not be over with yet, there may be somebody else who gets wrapped up in this thing. Okay. There may be somebody else who gets wrapped up in this thing. And it's somebody that you wouldn't think. Well, let me rephrase that. It's somebody you wouldn't think, but according to reports, if this person was involved with Swalwell in this, no, not that, and not this either. Headline: Bombshell records reveal Eric Swalwell and Ruben Gallego splurged campaign cash in Puerto Rico during island wedding. Article by Victoria Churchill, who's a U.S. reporter for the UK Daily Mail. Disgraced ex-congressman Eric Swalwell and now Senator Ruben Gallego both spent campaign funds at a Puerto Rican resort during the same weekend as Gallego's wedding, FEC records show. Gallego has scurried to distance himself from Swalwell, a former close friend, after the congressman and candidate for California governor resigned from both positions following a series of troubling sexual assault allegations. But the true intimacy of their relationship is beginning to unravel, the Daily Mail can reveal. Swalwell's political operation made a pair of expenditures at the Hyatt Regency Grand Reserve, Puerto Rico, totaling $1,522.11 on June 7th, 2021. An Instagram post by a wedding guest, reviewed by the Daily Mail, tagged that hotel as the location of Gallego's wedding on the same date. The political operation of Gallego, the groom, spent $2,000 at the nearby Fairmont El San Juan that same day. Gallego, a congressman at the time, was elected to the Senate November 24. After publication Tuesday night, a Gallego spokesperson provided an invoice from the September donor retreat in Puerto Rico showing a $2,000 charge transferred at check-in. The Gallego spokesperson claims it corresponds to the June 7 FEC disbursement. However, a contract, the campaign also shared a document late Tuesday showing zero paid every deposit installment, including the one on June 15th. Now, folks, the reason why I'm asking the question, who took the video? It might very well be that Ruben Gallego gets sucked into this thing that's going on with Swalwell. And again, I don't know that that's true. I'm just reporting things I read and hear. But I'm just saying, if that's the case, oh boy, that's a problem. Now, hang on a second. I got various people throwing links at me. Let me see what's going on here. Give me a second. Oh boy. Oh boy, indeed. Okay. Yep. Okay. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. So just keep your eyes open. So, yeah. This is not over with yet. Not by a long shot. Matter of fact, let me do this. Let me see if I can. WWG1 sent me something. Let me see if I can put this up on the screen for you guys. Check this out. This is from Newsweek.
31/2021. Using standard facial recognition software, the man in the footage was compared with several images of Swalwell taken around the same period. The report said that, quote, The appearance of the adult male in the videos matches Representative Eric Swalwell. The forensic report was prepared in January, months before reports of Swalwell's alleged sexual misconduct emerged. It was commissioned by an unidentified individual or organization, the name of which has been redacted from the report shared with Newsweek. Swalwell declined to comment on the allegations when reached by Newsweek via phone this week. The viral video appearing to show Eric Swalwell kissing a woman in a hotel bed is not AI, it's real. Newsweek obtained a forensic analysis report concluding the footage is authentic and shows no signs of AI generation or manipulation. The 2 short clips analyzed in the report show an adult male kissing an unidentified woman inside what appears to be a hotel room, and the pair lying down together on the bed. The analysis of the metadata reveals that the videos were shot on an Apple device in Las Vegas at around 5 a.m. on July 31, 2021.
Okay. There you go, folks. Now, so yeah, keep your eyes open. And again, in light of everything, in light of everything going on, well, that's a good question. See, yeah, I'm just wondering if, again, it's all up to interpretation. We'll see what happens, but don't be shocked. Do not be shocked at all if Ruben Gaye or somebody else gets wrapped up in this thing. Do not be shocked at all. Okay. Folks, we've got some reports coming in, and I'm going to pop these up on screen because apparently this is happening in real time right now. Give me 1 second here. Going back to our discussions a little bit earlier about we've got some pictures coming out of the Strait of Hormuz. And let me get this up on screen for you guys. These were this morning. Those are tankers in the Strait of Hormuz, or at least that's what is being alleged. And they have been fired upon. So, again, allegedly, that's the Strait of Hormuz. We've got a story here from the UK Independent. Tankers under fire as Iran closes the Strait of Hormuz hours after reopening. Iran and the U.S. continue to accuse each other of piracy as Tehran seized back control of the Strait of Hormuz. Article by James C. Reynolds. We've got the following. Tankers in the Gulf came under fire on Saturday as Iran reimposed its blockade of the Strait of Hormuz just hours after declaring the vital waterway had reopened to commercial traffic. At least 2 vessels reported being struck by gunfire as they tried to cross the strait after Tehran said it would be shutting down the strategic choke point in response to the continued U.S. blockade on Iranian ports. Hopes for diplomacy were dashed as Iran's new Supreme Leader Mujtaba Khamenei said the nation's navy was ready to inflict, quote, new bitter defeats on the enemies with the U.S.-Iranian ceasefire set to expire within days. Iran's foreign ministry cast fresh doubts on Donald Trump's hopes for a second round of peace talks this weekend, revealing no date has been set and adding that a framework of understanding must be agreed to first. President Trump, who only yesterday said Iran had agreed never to close the strait again, played down the situation, telling reporters Iran had, quote, got a little cute, but that the U.S. was still in talks and would not be blackmailed. So there you go, folks. There you go. So we'll see what happens. One second, folks. Be right with you. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. Still here, folks. Hang on. Still with you. One moment. And he's back. Yeah. Yeah. We are not bigoted here. We give our attentions to everybody from Hormuz, regardless. There you go. Now I just had to, my nose was a bit sniffly, so I had to take care of that. All right. Couple other things in the news, and then we will wrap it up for today's purposes. Unfortunately, the deep state had a victory yesterday, which I am not very happy about for various reasons. A Truth Social post from Donald Trump. I am working very hard with our great speaker, Mike Johnson, along with Chairman Jim Jordan and Chairman Rick Crawford, to get a clean extension of FISA 702 through the House this week. I'm asking Republicans to unify and vote together on the test vote to bring a clean bill to the floor. We need to stick together when this bill comes before the House Rules Committee, etc. When the dirty cop, James Comey, the failed head of the FBI, went after me, he was using FISA Title I, the domestic collection, not 702, foreign collection, which needs to be extended today. While parts of FISA were illegally and unfortunately used against me in the Democrats' disgraceful witch hunt, now here's the line that's got everybody upset. I am willing to risk the giving up of my rights and privileges as a citizen for our great military in our country. Our military patriots desperately need FISA 702. Mr. President, I know you listen to a lot of people, but may I throw something in for just consideration? Quote, those who would surrender their liberty for safety get neither. Benjamin Franklin. Well, the bad news is, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, the deep state got a temporary victory. Headline from CBS, controversial FISA surveillance program extended by House, but only until April 30th. Dateline, Washington, D.C., the House early Friday approved a short-term renewal until April 30 of a controversial surveillance program used by the U.S. spy agencies after Republicans revolted and refused Trump's push for a longer extension. The measure passed in a post-midnight session by unanimous consent, meaning no members objected. A new proposal was unveiled late Thursday that would have extended the program for 5 years with revisions. It was a departure from the clean 18-month renewal Mr. Trump had demanded and Speaker Mike Johnson previously backed. Lawmakers scrambled to the Capitol as Democrats blasted the process, with many members flipping through pages of the bill on the floor as the vote began. The effort collapsed when a key procedural vote fell short, doomed by GOP defections. Later Friday morning, it was taken up by the Senate, which also passed a 10-day extension. Yes, thank you very much. I agree with that wholeheartedly. And much like the French, Republicans are indeed revolting. A lot of them anyway. There's a handful of them I still have some respect for, but problem is in the House and the Senate, that number is getting smaller and smaller. So the deep state unfortunately won a victory. And they may be on the verge of winning another one. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, apparently we have a new nominee for director for the Center of Disease Control. However, I'm not so sure about this lady. From ABC News, Trump nominates Dr. Erica Schwartz as the new CDC director. Schwartz is the fourth person named as the head of the CDC since last summer. Article by Mary Kikatos, we have the following. President Donald Trump nominated Dr. Erica Schwartz, a former deputy surgeon general, on Thursday as the new director for the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. Quote, it is my honor to nominate the incredibly talented Dr. Erica Schwartz as my director of the CDC, Trump wrote in a post on Truth Social. If confirmed by the Senate, Schwartz would replace Dr. J. Bhattacharya, director of the NIH, who took over as acting CDC director in February. Schwartz earned a medical degree from Brown University and served in the Navy until 2005. She served with the U.S. Public Health Service Commission Corp as the Coast Guard Chief Medical Officer and as Deputy Surgeon General from 2019 to early 2021 during the first Trump administration. And there's a picture of Dr. Schwartz. However, there may be some cause for concern. So, and keep in mind, this is coming from an epidemiologist and administrator for the McCullough Foundation. Yeah, meet your new CDC director. She mandated almost every major vaccine on civilians and military members, forcing smallpox, anthrax, and flu shots into the U.S. forces with threats of discipline for those who refused. Oh, boy. So this is what we're getting for CDC. Great. Oh, Lana, I had a feeling you'd be up on this one. Yeah, this chick, she got to go. No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Oh, boy. Anyway, folks, we're going to go ahead and bring this train into the station. It's almost 12:30, and you guys have been absolutely fantastic. So, again, to WWG1, TBA, Salty. Oh, one last thing about our friend Swalwell. I forgot to mention this. People have been asking the question, what is Swalwell doing now that he's no longer in Congress and he he's not running for governor of California? Well, according to people around him who are his friends, they say that he has a lot of time to read. Apparently, he's quite the avid reader. I didn't know that. Matter of fact, he was recently photographed reading a new book that he got his hands on. Yeah, here he is. Here's a picture of Swalwell. Says, let's see, the book is entitled "How to Get Chicks" by Bill. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. Too soon? I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, folks, I want to thank you as always for being here for Front Porch Brunch. We will be back for sure next Saturday morning. And remember, this Tuesday night at 7 p.m., I'll be on Robert Herr's channel. As soon as he's got the link up, I will start posting it around. So I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for the memes, the comments, everything else. Yes, TBA, that's probably a good way to describe it. Another 3-ring circus for the masses to enjoy. Hey, and yes, on your way out, hit the thumbs up button, please. We would appreciate it. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here. Everybody have a great weekend. Have fun. Spend time with your families. Tell somebody you love them. Give them a big hug. And, we're going to be back sometime next week. So anyway, I'm going to be on Robert Herr's channel Tuesday night at 9 p.m., Front Porch Brunch next Saturday morning. And in the meanwhile, as always, remember the words of that great American philosopher, Tom T. Hall, when he said, "It's faster horses, younger lovers, older whiskey, and more money." You guys have a great weekend. We'll catch up with you later. Bye-bye.